Most people who are lost will be decent people. A little bit of anything wrong is too much.
I have somebody that I know, they're my friend, and
Yes.
they're into a lot of crime, like stories, but like they're true stories. And they listen to it a lot. Is that a sin to be listening to that? Even if it's like very small amounts? Is that like a sin?
I like that, even if it's a small amount. I'm very glad you said that. This is a bottle of water, nice, clean, vitamin-enriched water. If I dropped one drop of arsenic into this, just one drop, would you drink it? You would? No. But it's just one drop. Now, how many sins did Adam commit before he was thrown out of the garden? One. I mean, how many fruits did he eat? Well, maybe one. Maybe part of one. What Adam did was not monstrous in our sense of the word monstrous. He did not rob a bank. It wasn't suicide or genocide or infanticide or whatever, patricide or matricide. He just did what vegetarians do. He consumed a fruit and was thrown out of the garden. My lovely sister says, even though it's just a little bit, that's all the devil needs. Let me tell you something. Do you know why the Bible consistently tells us, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind and with all thy strength? Why? Because for God to save you, listen to me carefully, he needs all of you. To destroy you, the devil just needs a little piece. Oh, you're not with me. It's my fault. To save you, God needs all of you. To destroy you, Satan just needs a piece of you. God says, give me your whole heart. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, all thy mind, all thy strength, all thy might. That's what we do not do. And so I have a lot of decent people on the way to hell. Look at what they were doing in the days of Lot. Likewise also, Luke 17:28, as it was in the days of Lot. They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. Which of those is a crime? None. Living life as usual. But God wasn't first. Lost. Most people who are lost will be decent people, whom Christ was not numero uno. Are you following me? My little sister, my young sister, a little bit of anything wrong is too much. Go to Ephesians 5. Let me show you something exactly in line. I'm so glad you asked that question. Go to Ephesians 5. Someone else come to the mic with the King James Version. Ephesians 5. Be therefore followers of God as dear children, and walk in love, as Christ also hath loved us, and given himself for us an offering and a sweet smelling good. Read from verse 2 of read 3 of Ephesians 5. Listen carefully.
But fornication and uncleanness or covetousness.
Carefully now. Let it not
be once
named among you. That's become not once, because once is too often. Thank you very much. Child Guidance, page 200, paragraph 2. That which we do once, we are more apt to do again. That's a psychological principle. You turn that around for the good news. If you resist once, it's easy to resist the second time, then the third time. It works both ways. And so a little of anything that's bad is not good. Catastrophic, disastrous. That's how the devil gets you. Little, many years ago, this is actual true story. The only children's story I can tell, really. I have only 2 children's stories. I trained some squirrels to eat out of my hand. I would go to the backyard, beep, 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 and they'd come out of the trees. Throw them nuts. And one in particular would come closer than all the others. I said, this fella is bold. He'd come closer. He actually came up to my hand. I held a nut just like this. He came up, and for the nut, he missed the nut and grabbed my finger. And I felt the power in it, but he didn't bite down. He realized this wasn't the nut. Then he switched his grip, and he took the nut. I was grateful to God. And so he went off. Next day, he came. And I kept doing that. That was the summer. Then I put the nut in the palm of my hand and did that. And he came and his tail was swishing back and forth. Who is this guy? And then he put his 2 front paws right in my hand, took the nut, turned around and dashed off to the trees. And I said, I've got him. And I kept on doing that. Then I kept backing up. Now, I lived in the basement, so there was a sliding door. And I stepped into the door with a nut, and he came. Now, all the odors in the house he could smell. See, he was nervous. And he took it out of my hand and ran. Then I stepped back. Literally happened. I stepped back into the house. He came into the house. Took that nut. That's how the devil does it. It's never overnight. One step, one step, one step, one step. Before you know it, you look back, you say, wait a minute, how did I get this far? You got that far one step at a time, a little at a time. But reverse that. That's how we grow in grace. One step at a time. One step. So let's focus on that.